The expedition of European and Spanish exploration got underway in the 14th century under the leadership of Portuguese and Spanish explorers. Courageous seafarer wanted to promote Christianity as well as making their wealth prosper in a way of trading because at that time, spices considered as most valuable since it only be obtained in the Far East or could not be cultivated in cold and arid Europe. So flavoring and preserving food as well as masking the taste of meat gone bad. Spices like cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, and especially black pepper were extremely valuable. Portugal and Spain lead the competition for early control over this critical commodity. Portuguese had reached the Spice Islands by sailing east, but not had yet to sail west from Europe to reach the other side of the globe. Magellan was determined to be the first to do so, and this was the storied expedition of the Spice Island, a strenuous and impactful journey that resulted in the first circumnavigation of the world and the founding of Christianity in the Philippines. The first voyage around the world by Antonio Pigafetta was written on board one of the 5 ships that was first circumnavigate the world during an expedition that was led by Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan. The expedition began in 1519 and ended in Spain in 1522. Their fleet reached what he called the Ladrones Island, the island of thieves. 10 days after they searched Ladrones Island, they searched the Isle of Zamal, but Magellan decided to land in another uninhabited island for greater security where they could rest for a few days. Ten days after they reached Ladrones Island, they searched the Isle of Zamal, but Magellan decided to land in another uninhabited island for greater security, where they could rest for a few days. March 18, 9 men came to them and showed joy and eagerness in seeing them. The natives gave them fish, palm wine, pigs, and 2 pouches, rice, and other load supplies. The people there are very familiar and friendly, and willingly show them different islands in the name of these islands. The fleet went to Homono Island, and there they found the watering place of good signs. It is where they found the first signs of gold in the island. On March 25th, they saw 2 balanghay, a longboat full of people in Mazaba. The leader, which is the king of the balanghay, sent his men to the ship of Magellan. The Europeans entertained these men and gave them gifts. When the king of the balanghay offered to give Magellan a bar of gold and chest of ginger, Magellan declined. Magellan sent the interpreter to the king and asked for money for the needs of his ships and expressed that he came into the island as a friend and not an enemy. Magellan exchanged gifts of robes in Turkish, red cap, and gave the people knives and mirrors. The 2 then decided to become brothers. Magellan stayed with the king his charts and maps and shared how they found the island. After a few days, Magellan was introduced to the king's brother, who was also a king of another island. These kings are Raha Kalambo, king of Zuluan and Calagan, and Raha Shago. 31st, which happened to be Easter Sunday, Magellan ordered the chaplains to preside the Mass by the shore. The king heard this plan and sent 2 pigs and attend the Mass from the other king. After the Mass, Magellan ordered that the cross be brought with nails and a crown in place. The king concurred and allowed for the cross to be planted. April 7th of the same year, together with other principal men of Cebu, met in an open place. There the king offered a bit of his blood and demanded Magellan do the same. It is to show the brotherhood.
6th of April, a principal of men named Zulo from the island of Matan went to see Magellan and asked him for a boat full of men so that he would able to fight the chief named Silapu-Lapu.
The islanders, seeing that the shots of gun did them little or no harm, would not retire but shouted more loudly and springing one side to the other to avoid the shots. They are throwing arrows, javelins, spears, stones, and Magellan's men hardly defend themselves. Magellan was pierced with a poisoned arrow in his right leg. His men elected Duarte Barbosa as the captain. Magellan slaved an interpreter named Henry betrayed them. The natives had slain all of the men except the interpreter and one Serrano who was already wanted. Serrano was presented and shouted and asking them to pay ransom. However, they refused and would not allow anyone to go to the shore. They fleet departed and abandoned Serrano. They left Cebu and continued their journey around the world.